A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for tuning in to Kirk Mid Morning this beautiful Tuesday. Indeed, it is quite beautiful because we can see we have good weather this morning, rather from where I am. If it is raining or drizzling from where you are, do keep yourself warm and take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Faith Kaulu. I hope you are well together with your family. Do stay with us till the end of this program because we have a lot lined up for you. Of course, we talk about matters environment today in line with the COP27 summit that is currently ongoing in Egypt. We'll be having that discussion in a few. But right about now, let's have a look at some of the stories making headlines this morning. We'll start off with news about the police Service Commission. Now, Dr. Rizila Atieno Onyango has been appointed as the National Police Service new spokesperson. Dr. Rizila takes over from Bruno Shioso, who was promoted and named the commandant of the National Police Service training campus in Kiganjo. In the changes, Central Police Region Commander Manasseh Musyoka was moved to Nairobi Region in the same capacity. Musyoka now replaces James Mugera, who retired after attaining retirement age. Now, the new Central Region Police Commissioner will be Lydia Ligami, while Paul Langat was posted to Western as the Regional Police Commissioner to replace Paris Mudhoni, who retired from the service. Right, several changes right there in the National Police Service. Now you are up to date. The new National Police Service spokesperson is Atieno Rizila Onyango. Well, let's have a look at President William Ruto's speech at the COP27 summit. Now, President William Ruto, while addressing the COP27 summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, this is in Cairo, Egypt, has insisted that developed nations must switch from carbon-heavy energy and direct their industrial investment to Kenya and other African countries that are already producing clean energy. Ruto, in his speech, emphasized on the need to have a clean environment to mitigate effects of climate change. Ruto has also highlighted the continent's challenges in drought and food shortage.
Loss and damage must therefore be addressed with a level of seriousness which demonstrates fairness, urgency, and consideration. Africa contributes less than 3% of the pollution responsible for climate change, but is most severely impacted by the ensuing crisis. Africa, and it is therefore only fair and proper that this conference takes necessary measures to recognize Africa's special needs and circumstances under the Paris Agreement, in line with the Convention and relevant decisions adopted by previous COPs. Beyond the overdue, legitimate, and priority concerns of resilience, mitigation, loss and damage, Africa offers unique potential to play an indispensable positive role in the planet's climate change future.
Well, President William Ruto's speech yesterday at the COP27 summit. Now, let's still have a look at what President William Ruto mentioned, or rather said, while chairing NDC Implementation Committee through Forestry and Rangeland Restoration yesterday as well, still in Egypt.
We are currently in the middle of a drought, a severe drought that we have not seen in 40 years. Nonetheless, we are taking bold and pragmatic steps, investing heavily in climate action. We are doing this despite our emissions and those from the entire Africa region being negligible, less than 4% of the world's emissions. Last year, at COP26, Kenya joined other countries in signing the Glasgow Leaders' Declaration on Forests and Land Use. Early in 2016, we joined the Africa Forest Landscape Restoration Initiative and committed to restore 5.1 million hectares of degraded land. We have now gone above and beyond this commitment by scaling up to grow 5 billion trees in the next 5 years and 15 billion trees in the next 10 years, covering not 5.1 million hectares, but 10.6 million hectares.
Right, our conversation today right here at Kirk Mid Morning is based on the discussion going on at COP27, this is in Cairo, Egypt, on matters global warming, climate change as well, and how to mitigate its effects. Now, I'll read a tweet by Antonio Guterres, this is the Secretary General of the United Nations, who says, climate crisis is the fight of our lives and we are losing. He goes on to say, one thing is certain, those that give up are sure to lose. So let's fight on together. And by together, I understand this means bring all hands on board. And that is why our conversation today is on youth and environment. What is the role of young people when it comes to matters environment? What is the role of the young generation? And to have this conversation, I'll be joined by James Kaluki and Victor Okello. I'll be introducing them proper in a few when they join me on set. Right about now, let's have a very short break. Keep it right here, of course, to interact with us on our social media pages. That is CAC TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. We'd like to hear your comments and thoughts. Of course, currently ongoing, Kenya is facing the worst drought it has in 40 years. What are your thoughts on this? How can we solve this issue once and for all? Do talk to us on our social media platforms. Our SMS line is 0111 220044. I'd like to hear from you. Keep it right here. We're taking a very short break. See you in a few. We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kaktv.org, SMS 0111 220044, or call us on 0794 588 054. Christmas already here at CAC TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, CAC TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738 278 506 or 0739 971 607. Send an email bnkogie@kaktv.org or munyoroku@kaktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the CAC TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza. Are you looking to be a homeowner? Or are you looking into investing in land? Then worry no more. PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited presents to you Fadhili Annex Gardens 50 by 100 plots. Located in Katafu Road, approximately 8 kilometers from the main road, the plots sell at affordable prices of 460,000 Kenya shillings for PCEA Housing Cooperative Society members and 500,000 Kenya shillings for non-members. Pay a deposit of 150,000 Kenya shillings and the balance is payable in 6 monthly installments. All the plots have ready titles. For more information, call 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222 or email pcahousing@gmail.com. Fadhili Annex Gardens by PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited. PCEA Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com.
Life is constantly changing, and so can your finances. Give yourself the comfort and plan ahead. Protect your family's financial future at Kirk Insurance Agency. We will facilitate a full range of life insurance plans. To find out which plans work best for you, call us on 0700 161262 or 0780 203203. Email us via kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. Kirk Insurance Agency, our step into comfort and peace.
It's extremely humbling. It's very inspiring to see the leaders discussing about COP27 happening in Egypt, about climate change, about sustainable development goals crafted by the UN in 2015. And we are happy to say that leaders out there need to know that environment is key, climate change is real, and we have an action to do in our businesses, in our churches, in our organizations, in our mosque, that whatever that we do, we need to reduce the carbon footprint. Those who are doing manufacturing, let's ensure that we are using green energy. Those who are in real estate, let's encourage green building. Even we have a program, we are calling it Go Green, whereby we inspire our people to plant trees. We encourage our customers to use, to recycle the water. We also discourage the disposing of plastic, especially in our oceans, because we must be able to save life under the sea. And for us as leaders, we have a responsibility to take care of our planet Earth. We have no other planet. We need to implement all sustainable goals, be it life in water, life under the land, be it sustainability of our environment, so that we are able to fight these issues of climate change. And I'm happy to say that many business people are now talking about carbon credits, that whatever you can do, if you are in construction like Optiven, ensure you use natural lighting, that we are able to reduce the carbon out there. And once you do that, the planet is going to be more friendlier. Let's take care of our planet Earth. We have nowhere else to go. This is the only one that we do have. Those who are doing agriculture, let's be careful on the pesticides and the insecticides that we are using, to ensure that we are using, chemicals that are manageable, especially with the human habitation. And we have a responsibility. Let's do it. See you at COP27.
Accidents happen with no warning and little time to prepare you for the related costs. An accident insurance cover will protect you from the financial burden that comes when you are indisposable. At Kirk Insurance Agency, we will guide you to an accident cover that will suit your needs and your pockets. Call us now on 0700-161-262 or 0780-203-203. Email us kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. Kirk Insurance, a step into comfort and peace. All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for keeping it right here as we talk about matters youth and environment. Today, I am joined by James Kaluki, who is the programs coordinator of the Green Slums Innovation Hub at the very far end, and at the middle is Victor Okello, a political environmentalist. Karibuni sana, and thank you so much for being here today, gentlemen. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
We'll start with you. Karibu to today's show. Do tell us what you do as a political environmentalist.
Okay, I'm Victor Okello. Political environmentalist means like I'm a politician as well as an environmentalist. I've participated in several political positions where I've run, and also I'm at the forefront to champion for environmental justice. First, I'm the founder and chairman of We Forest International, a non-profit that is based in Nairobi. We are working in 5 counties: Nairobi, Machakos, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Siaya. And we're championing for environment justice. We're agitating young guys. And when it comes to youth, which involves me, it involves even the children down there, I'll be willing to participate seriously and share thoughts here and there on how we can change the earth together.
What's the name of the organization again?
We Forest International.
We Forest International.
Yes.
When you say environmental justice, just to someone who's watching us, what is that?
Environmental justice is just being fair to the environment. You know, no one on the earth, it's for us all. So it's our individual responsibility to take an action that is fair. Let's say we know things like waste management. I know I need to dump my trash into the right trash bin. If it's a plastic, if it's a electronic, if it's something. Just being fair to the climate. I need to plant a tree. I need to save the environment. I need to turn off tap water, switch off the light to avoid light pollution. Yes, not making noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were setting, you told me, I told you I talk politely,
Yeah.
so I don't pollute the environment. Yeah, sure.
Sawa, thank you so much, Mr. Kaluki.
Yes.
Karibu as well. Tell us what Green Slums Innovation Hub does.
Yeah. First, my name's James Kaluki from Green Slums Innovation Hub, based in Embakasi South, Nairobi, and Mukuru, Warube, Ward. So we're just a pool of youth-led organizations that has come together to form a network to push for climate change action. We normally run 3 programs. One being let's talk about climate change. Here is we simply simplify climate change information from global discussion to grassroots level. Yeah, we normally run this program to school kids. We train them about the importance of climate change and the ways of conserving the trees and environment. The second program that we run is it's all about green technology network. Here we connect and improve climate change with the technology. As we know, many youths right now are in technology, so we try to innovate the information so that it can reach to the youth for better understanding.
Yeah.
The third one is all about Mukuru infrastructure sustainability. As you know, recently in Mukuru we had a development of roads, drainage, and sewer. That was done through by NMS. So yeah, that's where we come in to maintain the waste management, to prevent it from blocking this drainage. As I think recently last year, I think Mkuru was one of the hotspots of cholera, and I remember the CS came to survey the ground, and so I know even some of people that died out of cholera, and so that's why we came in to prevent that cholera through waste management. We also do tree planting and cleanups. Yes.
Great. I think for me, I like the fact that you mentioned, championing for climate change action,
Yes.
taking the global conversation and zeroing it down
Yes.
to what someone in Mukuru, someone in
understand.
Misli, someone anywhere
Yes.
can understand, because indeed the global talk seems so huge, so
the
big,
English
not
is
for
huge.
us,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
But then when you zero it down, it shows that everyone has a part to play in
Yes.
this. And I like that.
Yes.
Good job. Let's start by, we're here talking about youth and environment.
Yes.
And what you mentioned about the global discussion, this COP27 and going, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about the importance of having youth and the young people involved as well in keeping up the environment. You've called it environment justice, taking action,
Yes.
mitigating the effects of global warming and all that. We'll start with you.
I think as a youth, we need to have our own space with the climate change, and I think the best place for us is in part of advocacy. I think we can play the huge role in advocacy, and here we can say through media, and then through matches, and also in digital platform, because I think in Kenya the largest population contains of youth, and we as youth we have the great energy to push for climate change agenda. So I think youth can play a huge part in advocacy, and also I think in policy making. I think we can play a lot.
Great. Okay. Well, Victor,
Yes.
let's talk about the role of the youth, why it's important to involve the youth as well in matters climate change.
Okay, I think basically as a tradition, youth has always been the agent of change. And as we can see, we are in a highway to hell, for climate hell, and our foots are on the accelerator. As you can see, top national leaders are now flying with jets to Egypt.
Yeah.
And these jets are polluting environment as well. They are telling us to protect the earth. They are moving with motorcades. They told us even to wear a mask. They had a very lavish parties. Yes, you can see what they have been telling us. Now they are lagging us behind. As the founder of WeForest International, our two members are there at COP27. And what we do to engage youth, we have so many programs that is rolled out to save the climate. Like one is, according to President William Ruto's speech in Mashujaa Day, he said about climate action. He said, like, for us to meet 50 billion trees by 2032, it means everybody need to plant at least 300 trees by then. And he encouraged peer-to-peer sharing of information about climate. So with Forest International, we have a click. Previously, it's called Club. Like we have WeForest Riara Club click, WeForest Strathmore click, WeForest MQ click, to ensure this information sinks down. And then we share opportunities. There are so many opportunities in climate now that generate income. Like one of it, so these opportunities we share with the students. Like the program, like the one in Egypt, there is another one in December. Yes. And then there's Duke Interfaith about climate and religion in the US in January. I'll be part of that. And so these opportunities we share with this team. So we disseminate like the information down to somebody in the village. Have you ever been to Turkana? If you have ever been there, those are the effects of climate change. It's so real. And you can see most young people, they don't think about 2050. I don't know how the earth will be by 2050 if we continue the same way. More cars are increasing in the roads, but they are not electric cars, they are gas cars. So we tend to do this. So like as WeForest International, one of our program is like on waste management. According to SDG number 14 on partnership and resource and all that, we partner with the Computer for Schools Kenya, And there's a center called We Center in Utawala, where we reuse electronic waste. Let's say it's a camera, it's a laptop, it's a fridge, it's a blender. So we bring young people from, we have been using young people from Kibera. This is a partnership with UNICEF. They bring young people. They are being trained for 3 months on how to repair a phone, repair a watch, repair a laptop. So that it's a course taking 3 months, and then they collect this e-waste. And then after 3 months, this young man is going back to his community to create employment. So we are solving 2 issues at a time. Because the electric waste also increases carbon footprint. And most people tend to ignore them. And then let's say I buy a phone, let's say I buy my phone, let's say it costs me 100 Gs. And then in case it breaks and then I take it to a fundi, he tells me he can't repair it. I'll tend to keep it. So there is need for those of the electric waste in their homes to release them so that they can be recycled to save the carbon footprint. We have digital cleanup. There is much on cleanup. Digital cleanup is where we partner with Microsoft, Google. Let's say I joined campus like 5 years ago. I have these notes, I have these documents in my laptop that I no longer use them. They increases carbon footprint. So you need to delete them. Like even we are here. Let's say when we're done, we'll be taking photos. We'll take even 20 photos. Basically 1 or 2 photos can work. So there are those photos that are not necessary. So that's a digital cleanup. So with partnership with Microsoft, they install genuine Microsoft, but at a fee. Yes, to these guys. So just a glimpse of what we are doing. Yes.
Okay. I like that. But let's talk as a country, as a nation, Kenya. That's what you do as we Forest.
Yes.
That's what you do at Mukuru. But Kenya, do you think we are engaging young people enough when it comes to climate change action?
Yes, according to me, I think young people now are pushing themselves. That's why I see somebody like James is coming up. He's coming up with his own table. As we are coming up, I know so many young guys. And we are trying to reach people in the community level, down like the CBOs, youth groups. We inform them about we were sharing with James there at the waiting lodge. These opportunities, they need to know. There are so many opportunities in these that can generate income to this, because you can't do anything without money first. So I can advise young men in agriculture. It's another effect of climate change that can be felt. Right now, I think up to 5 million people are hungry. There is serious hunger in the country. So this is one of the challenge that has already been felt in the country right now. As you can see, the other time, the deputy president just flagged off some relief food to the other side. So this is one of the effects that has been felt right now. And this, as a tradition, young people have never been on side of farming and all that. Yet it's the best one. And now there is smart agriculture. We are trying to enroll one which can accommodate young people. It's not a matter of forcing them to go there. It's a matter of making it attractive for someone to use it. For example, people are buying cars. Because if you say we pass a policy, people to use even a public vehicle on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is it attractive for someone to go use a public vehicle? So it's not a matter of just passing the policy, but we need to make them attractive for a young man that will even please me as a young man to go engage into farming. As us, we have enrolled some. So many, yes, thank you.
Okay, you've mentioned a very interesting but contentious point there. You said you can't do without money. And I have to ask that question because we have young people indeed are pushing themselves. We see them steering what can I say, community-based organization and governmental organization towards climate change and climate action, which is a good thing. But then here comes the genuinity of that. Is it all about funding? Are we after funding, to draw proposals and say this is what we are doing? Or are we genuinely concerned and want to bring change?
I think we are generally concerned because like in Mpuru, I think we are the community. And that's where we live. That's our home. I think it's something we have passion about it to change our community. I think in Mukuru, many people are like illiterate. They don't have the information about the climate change. So I think they feel like they're in the dark side. So I think most of we're not after the funds.
The funding
Yeah.
or the money.
We only want change. Yeah, we want to change our country from the grassroots level. I think the problem starts from the grassroots level
Okay.
and not up. So I think people should start looking at it as a passion. Like we own it. Not like we are not focusing on the funds. Yes.
Okay. If last question on this, then we move on to something else.
Yes.
If we take away the funding, if we take away the money, would we still have young people championing for climate change, Victor?
Yes, so many. In fact, we had rolled some programs where we call for volunteers, and guys are coming. And then on money, when we started like 3 years ago, we tried reaching the embassies, these big organizations. It's so hard for an organization to give you money. You need to come with a substantial, and you need to come with a detailed proposal. You need to present it. Those who have ever bidded for a proposal, this is not an investment. This is a donation. For you to convince me to give you like a $10,000 on a project, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And then these organizations, once they are registered, like us, we are registered NGOs. We have NGO boards of Kenya that regulate the organization. So, and then for you to withdraw money, there is a secretary, treasurer, and chairman. So it's not easy just like for somebody to go with somebody's money. Yeah, maybe you can just earn your salary there, but you can't steal money. And then nature also has a way of punishing people who try to punish it. I do believe like it's a long story that I can't say right now. Yes, but nature will always come back for you.
Okay.
If you try to do something of sort, nature has its own way. That it will take time, even 10 years, 20 years, but it will always come back for you.
And we can see it's already punishing us
Yes.
heavily.
Yes.
Let's talk about the good work you're doing. But what challenges are you experiencing at the moment? Of course, we're here saying, yeah, you're doing a good job at Mukuru, and we think it might be very easy. But what are some of the challenges you encounter?
I think in Mukuru, we encounter as we have different groups that has come together to form a network, and they are all doing climate change action. So I think the challenge that we both face, I think it's resources. We don't have resources. I think to do something like advocacy, we normally go to schools. We normally use our resources as a group, of which we do have our sustainable programs. So I think we're not much. I think the main challenge is the resources.
The resources.
The resources in Mukuru.
Yeah.
Because we do many activities. Like recently on Saturday, 6th, we had tree planting. I think we planted like 300 trees in Mukuru. Okay. I've planted in 3 different locations: in school, in church, and one institution. I think through that we got support from G Insurance staffs who bought us the trees and the refreshment. But for us, the hub, we only facilitated the event. So I think the main challenge that we pass through, I think, is the resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is the reception from the community?
It's well good.
Okay.
Because they know our work. Yes.
All right. On your end?
Okay, what I can say, just as James, my brother, said, when I was in high school, I learned about something: lack of funds, lack of capital. That thing is true, and it's really affecting young people, women, CBOs. So as We Forest, we tried to roll up a program where we train a founder. You must be a founder or a chairman or a CEO of something on how proposal writing and on a funding, on how you handle these. And this comes with branding yourself, brand identity. How do you present yourself to the organization for you to get these funds? Because without money, I told you before, without money you can't do anything. That's the key thing you need to go for right now. So this training, we tried one. It's a center sometimes back, and young people came in large number, though it's charged $10 to engage seriousness. That's roughly 1,210 bob. Then yes, so that's one. And then another challenge is illiteracy. You go to we work in 5 counties: Machakos, Nairobi, Kisumu, Siaya, and Mombasa. When you go to the rural down there, you tell them like, you don't need, these people are using charcoal, they're using firewood to cook. So there are these energy modes of cooking, maybe a solar cooker, and maybe even there's these jikos that they can use the environmental friendly ways of cooking. There's that issue of lack of funds, but when funded, we give them, and then the issue is there's a lot of illiteracy, and then these people themselves, they don't know that they're illiterate. So there's need for more capacity building. And then another challenge is climate itself. Let's say tree planting. We have programs of tree planting, like we plant fruit seedlings. So you go to a community, you call them, you give them tree seedlings of, let's say, mangoes. Even, these things cost money because they are crafted. We are trying to come with smart farming. We go crafted fruit seedling. Let's say apple has avocados. It costs around 800 bob even piece, and then you are giving someone, and then the sustainability of the tree. We are not just for tree to be planted, but we want to see it sustainable until to a point where it can be used. We measure on fruit seedlings that it can help someone maybe 3 years to come. A child will be leaving from school hungry, and then he can pluck a mango and something. That's also a challenge. And then this is a challenge also we faced then when you had our target audience were like these high-end private universities and secondary schools. So you go, they need a letter from Ministry of Education. It's called to quantify what you're going to give to, when you're talking to people, it's quality, something of sort. So there are so many letters. And then just registering, a process of registering an NGO in Kenya, it's an issue. I even thought of even giving up. And we were around 6 people who started together. Only 2 of us have succeeded. The others are now, they traveled, they just left the thing. They say you can. So it involved making tough choices when easier ones are available. There's also another issu. Yes. Okay,
keep going. Don't give up.
Sure.
As long as action is being taken, I read somewhere today that no action is bad action. So as long as there's action being taken, no matter how difficult the situation is, we hope that someday we'll look back and see the great milestone, the very many changes we've made, the many trees that have been planted that have helped us in our environment. But that said, I think that has been a good foundation we've laid. Let's take a very short break. When we come back, we'll be looking now at COP27. Of course, we listen in to President William Ruto's speech yesterday, asking the West for funding. We'll talk about that as well. Is it managed well? And some of the steps that we can take. It's COP27. Is it just all talk, no action? Or what are some of the changes that we're expecting to see? So let's take a very short break. Do keep it right here at CAC TV. Definitely interact with us on our social media pages, CAC TV Kenya, on Facebook and YouTube. See you in a few. Christmas already here at CAC TV, the season of cheer and goodies. Are you a church organization and would like to air your end of year and New Year services? Are you thinking of reaching a wider audience and showcasing your Christmas cantatas and concerts? Have you thought about showcasing your Sunday school services to the entire country? Then, CAC TV is offering you the end year advert bonanza. We will cover and broadcast all the above events at up to 50% off our normal rates starting this October till January 2023. Usiwachwe nyuma hii Krisi. Call our sales team now on 0738 278 506 or 0739 971 607. Send an email bnkogie@cactv.org or munyoroku@cactv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the CAC TV End Year New Year Advert Bonanza. Communication Department is a department under the church mandated to sell and not limited to clergy outfit, inspirational books, practice and procedure, PP, diaries, calendars, church group equipment, among other church items. 2023 diaries and calendars will be available for sale starting this November. To book yours, call 0715 376 342 or 0727 559 935. Send an email pceajitegemeapress@yahoo.com. Are you looking to be a homeowner? Or are you looking into investing in land? Then worry no more. PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited presents to you Fadhili Annex Gardens 50 by 100 plots. Located in Katafu Road, approximately 8 kilometers from the main road, the plots sell at affordable prices of 460,000 Kenya shillings for PCEA Housing Cooperative Society members and 500,000 Kenya shillings for non-members. Pay a deposit of 150,000 Kenya shillings and the balance is payable in 6 monthly installments. All the plots have ready titles. For more information, call 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222 or email pceahousinglimited@gmail.com. Fadhili Annex Gardens by PCEA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
Life is constantly changing, and so can your finances. Give yourself the comfort and plan ahead. Protect your family's financial future at Kirk Insurance Agency. We will facilitate a full range of life insurance plans. To find out which plans work best for you, call us on 0700 161262 or 0780 203203. Email us via kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. Kirk Insurance Agency, our step into comfort and peace.
Accidents happen with no warning and little time to prepare you for the related costs. An accident insurance cover will protect you from the financial burden that comes when you are indisposable. At Kirk Insurance Agency, we will guide you to an accident cover that will suit your needs and your pockets. Call us now on 0700 161 262 or 0780 203 203. Email us kirkinsurance@pcea.or.ke. Kirk Insurance, a step into comfort and peace.
It is extremely humbling. It's very inspiring to see the leaders discussing about COP27 happening in Egypt, about climate change, about sustainable development goals crafted by the UN in 2015. And we are happy to see that leaders out there need to know that environment is key, climate change is real, and we have an action to do in our businesses, in our churches, in our organizations, in our mosque, that whatever that we do, we need to reduce the carbon footprint. Those who are doing manufacturing, let's ensure that we are using green energy. Those who are in real estate, let's encourage green building. Optiven, we have a program, we are calling it Go Green, whereby we inspire our people to plant trees. We encourage our customers to use, to recycle the water. We also discourage the disposing of plastic, especially in our oceans, because we must be able to save life under the sea. And for us as leaders, we have a responsibility to take care of our planet Earth. We have no other planet. We need to implement all sustainable goals, be it life in water, life under the land, be it sustainability of our environment, so that we are able to fight these issues of climate change. And I'm happy to say that many business people are now talking about carbon credits, that whatever you can do, if you are in construction like Optiven, ensure you use national lighting, that we are able to reduce the carbon out there. And once you do that, the planet is going to be more friendlier. Let's take care of our planet Earth. We have nowhere else to go. This is the only one that we do have. Those who are doing agriculture, let's be careful on the pesticides and the insecticides that we are using, to ensure that we are using, chemicals that are manageable, especially with the human habitation. And we have a responsibility. Let's do it. See you at COP27.
All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for keeping it right here, Kirk Mid Morning, this beautiful day as we talk about youth and environment. With me is James Kaluki. If you're joining us right now, James Kaluki at the far end, and Victor Okello, who are both champions of environmental justice. Now, this second part of the program, we just want to talk about what is happening in Egypt, the United Nations Conference on Climate Change, COP27, as it is family known. And if you've been following the discussion on social media, you can just check up hashtag COP27, especially on Twitter. You'll at least keep yourself in touch with some of the conversation and key speeches that have been given at the summit. But as we talk about COP27, the conference, let's talk about what changes do we expect after the conference? What do we expect to see from the parties?
Okay, I think when the COP27 will be coming to an end, when signing the issue, the stuffs, I want to hear the African agenda. According to it's called African Agenda 2063. In Kenya, we had Kenya Vision 2030. So there is that Vision 2030. On Vision 2030, the agitation of smart cities, cities with a clean environment, in terms of waste, in terms of trees, in terms of gardens, in terms of parks, in terms of... I want to see these captured there. On Agenda 2063, I want to see a roadmap on how we are going to achieve this. Not just organizing another... There is another COP28.
Yeah.
Yes, there are so many conferences. And I think by the time we are going to COP28, I think, because this COP27 has come to Africa, we should talk about African issues seriously. That's what I expect.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks for that. Kaluki.
Yes.
What do you expect to see? What changes or implementations by the end of COP27?
I think we as a Global South, I think right now what we only want is the implementation. I think for the previous COPs, We only talked, and that is enough. We don't want more talk now. We only want implementation part, and more so we are focusing on the loss and damage funding.
Yes,
that's where I think that my president is more keen on that, because I think, like recently in Kenya, about the drought, you have seen our people have lost their livestock, and the agriculture sector has been greatly affected. And so what we need now is the loss and damage funding, yes, to compensate our people.
Yeah.
Because the global south countries has been greatly affected by the drought, of which the climate change has caused it. So we only demand from the global north people to fund the loss and damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, funding, yes.
That's a great conversation,
yes,
which of course I believe the funding should come through. But really my biggest concern of what makes me raise my eyebrows is the management of that fund, because we're calling out for the funding, but will we use it for the right purpose though?
That is my only hope. Yeah, as people from Kuru, we even us, we want the fund to be used the right way, even to reach the grassroots level, towards the groups that we normally do the climate change action. I think we will feel better if the money will be used the right way to the climate change action.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, as a political environmentalist, this I can now move to politics a little bit as a politician now, on how whether the funds will be used correctly. We just, I think we are around 53 days with the new government, and according to what the government is telling us, it seems they are going to give us the best. Though there is this Italian proverb like Alexander never did what he said, and Caesar never said what he did. So there's that Machiavellian politicking, because you can see these politicians are just Machiavellian. But as I told you earlier, nature, they will always get a way to handle you in a way or the other. So what I can just ask young people, the NGOs, youth groups, CBOs, women group, any organized groups, there is funds out there. And We Forest International is organizing a summit. Or now we can educate people, young people, CEOs, youth group, whether you have a business, private sector, there is funds for environment. And we are asking even those people, like President Ruto was asking for funds. We need more funds so that it can help us. And then we need to reach the people at the grassroots level. We need to teach them the importance. What is this environmental injustice? What are the effects? What are the consequences? How is it important for it to be solved? And how is it to be done? So we need to tell them use of environmental friendly energy savings, switching off the lights when not need, something of sort. So we need to go to the grassroots level. Once the fund is there, at least do something, because nature will always find a way to handle you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Now, I began by asking what we expect to see at the end of COP27, because I think the whole conference is a good thing, but my major concern is it's COP27.
Yes.
From COP1 to COP27, what are the major changes that we've seen the parties involved take action? You know, what can we say? At least we've reduced global warming. What we are only getting worse, and my concern is, are we all talk and no action? And I think let's listen into one of the speeches by Mia Motley, who's the Prime Minister of Barbados, speaking on the same issue yesterday, saying we come here, we congregate every year to talk. It's now time for action. I think let's listen and then we'll talk about that.
But the simple political will that is necessary, not just to come here and make promises, but to deliver on them and to make a definable difference in the lives of the people who we have a responsibility to serve, seems still not to be capable of being produced. I ask us how many more and how much more must happen. And I say so because there is no simplicity in it. We get it. I come from a small island state that has high ambition, but that is not able to deliver on that high ambition because the global industrial strategy that we have has fault lines in it. Our ability to access electric cars or our ability to access batteries or photovoltaic panels are constrained by those countries that have the dominant presence and can produce for themselves, but the global south remains at the mercy of the global north on these issues.
All right, Mia Motley there saying now it's time for action.
Yes.
We come here, we've talked. Let's fulfill the promises. And looking back at COP26, Barbados is the only country that has fulfilled the promise they made during the COP26. Now, here we are again, COP27. We haven't fulfilled what we promised at COP26. We are now making new promises at COP27 again. I mean, it's a whole cycle of doing nothing, just talk and not fulfilling on the promises. Are we really making steps, any steps per se, towards mitigating the effects of climate change?
I think before I told you, this is a serious major irony. I told you like we are on a highway to climate hell. Our foot are on the accelerator. As you can see, these top leaders, global leaders, are jetting there with their private jets, which are polluting environment.
Right.
The COP itself is sponsored by Coca-Cola, a major environmental pollutant. I personally signed a document by Yango. There is an NGO in US. They were this statement they were saying like Coca-Cola should not sponsor the event. So all this is politics. So I think what I can say, it's just a major irony. They told you they're telling us to wear masks. They are having lavish parties. So it's upon individual initiative who is willing to be a co-worker with God to make it a better place than he found it. That's why you can see young people are really agitating for it. And if you are in a position to help someone or to help an environment, please do. By just turning off a light, it won't cost you anything. Turning off running water, it won't switch you anything. Helping a brother who is having a CBO or helping a youth group to get finances, it won't cost you anything. So if you are in a position, because they'll create an impact. And nature, I believe like when co-workers with God, we call ourselves co-workers with God, we are trying to, according to the Bible, I'm not a good reader of the Bible, but God said, go and protect the environment. I think it's our duty now, as just people, young people, women, able, disabled, either white, blue, yellow, black.
Yes, something everyone on board. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think I like what you've said. We need everyone on board. And you also mentioned we cannot rely on global talk that is happening.
Yeah, sure.
I see you agreeing. Yes, for sure we need to do something. But we must agree that major decisions are made at the global table as well, because this is what then trickles down to us. But then we are seeing that what we do is make promises, and then once we are out of there, forget about them. Kaloki, what can we do?
I think what has caused the severe drought that we are experiencing in the country now is as a result of human activities. And I think, as my friend has just said, I think we cannot rely on our leaders since we have known what they are up to. So I think what we can do is that we need to take the initiative as people of Kenya. I think like one of the agreement in Paris was to reduce the greenhouse gas. I think that one we can do as a country, and as community we can do. And also there was that one, another one to neutralize the carbon. I think these are things we can do as a country, and not relying on the leaders, because I think the leaders are not in the grassroots level to know what we are experiencing as a community.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I think let's get to have a look at President William Ruto's speech as well yesterday at COP27. Let's listen in, then we'll have a discussion based on that. Okay. We're going to get that in a few. President William Ruto addressing the COP27 summit yesterday. I don't know if it's ready now, or should we continue a bit with the conversation?
We are currently in the middle of a drought, a severe drought that we have not seen in 40 years. Nonetheless, we are taking bold and pragmatic steps, investing heavily in climate action. We are doing this despite our emissions and those from the entire Africa region being negligible, less than 4% of the world's emissions. Last year, at COP26, Kenya joined other countries in signing the Glasgow Leaders Declaration on Forests and Land Use. Early in 2016, we joined the Africa Forest Landscape Restoration Initiative and committed to restore.
In the East Africa alone, for example, there exists sufficient hydroelectric potential to produce 100,000 megawatts, and if properly exploited, could generate enough clean energy for the whole of the continent. Instead of struggling to power industrialization using dirty energy, which is costly and destroying our planet, we want to make a case for developed economies to decarbonize their production by directing industrial investments to Africa and making use of clean energy to manufacture for the whole world. COP26 established the Glasgow Dialogue to formulate funding arrangements for measures to prevent, mitigate, and remedy loss and damage associated with adverse effects of climate change. Loss and damage is not an abstract topic of endless dialogue. It is our daily experience and the living nightmare of millions of Kenyans and hundreds of millions of Africans. A phenomenon of rising water levels in Rift Valley lakes was experienced in Kenya in 2020 and generated humanitarian crisis of unprecedented levels.
All right, President William Ruto yesterday, his speech, of course, at the COP27 conference, he speaks about loss and damage. Kaliki, you had mentioned that earlier. Of course, this is a conversation that tried coming up during the COP26, did not go through successfully. Here it is again, the same issue on loss and damage, COP27 again. Let's talk about this. Will the West give us funds?
I think that is our demand for right now. We only want loss and damage fund, because as a country we're experiencing a severe drought that has never been seen for 40 years right now. So as a result, we have lost many livestock, and our agriculture has really been affected so much.
Right.
So we don't want much talk right now. We only want the funds to be given. Yes.
Okay. And as much as I'm asking this, I agree.
Yeah, sure.
We need the funds, Victor, so do not come at me. But as much as we are championing for the funds, should we also not champion for them to reduce the emissions in their factories, in their industries? Yes, let's focus on funds, but what else can we also focus on to see that we're taking action as well?
Okay, just something about funds. The president said about rising water level in the Rift Valley lakes. Yesterday I was watching a documentary. There's this woman who bought a land from 25 kilometers from Lake Nakuru, like 10 years ago. But 2020, the rising water level from Lake Nakuru, there was that it's water flow from the lake, 25 kilometers, and now the lady has to move. I think it was 2020 also, we were tracked by locust locust of all that. So these are effects that we need the loss and damage funds. And then you ask, is there any other thing that we need to focus on? Sure, there's so many things. First, at this international dialogue, I think these emissions by companies, factories and all that need to be reduced. And more innovation. I think we need to embrace more innovation that are environmental friendly. These call upon, like, even the leaders, the young people. The leaders need to support the young people who are innovative to come up with these innovations to support that are environmental friendly, like the green energy and all that. Something of sort, yes. Okay.
But we do agree, because of course the Horn of Africa is facing, I'd say, adverse effects of climate change. Yeah. And the loss and damage fund is really necessary, because we look at its contribution to the global warming, and it's really less or little. You mentioned 7% thereabout. So these funds earlier on had raised concerns on if we get the funds, if this goes through, first of all, there's a question of how likely is it to go through, and if it goes through, then how should we use these funds? Let's start with you, Kaluki. Is there a possibility that this will go through this time?
I think for me, I see the possibility, and I think myself, I'm always positive. I think yesterday the president signed a deal with the UK government, and it was they signed a deal. I think it was about 500 billion that was going to be invested in green investment. I think the president said that the money will go to clean energy, infrastructure, transport. As for me, I think I have hope, and I'm positive the money will come through this time.
This time it will go through.
And I think maybe to add on that, I think as you have listened, the president has urged the global north countries to stop investing in carbon heavy gas industry, and start investing in global south countries, whereby like Kenya, we invest in manufacturing clean energy.
Clean energy. Okay. All right. Yes, Victor. And if this goes through, Kaluki is saying he's hopeful that this time it will go through. If it goes through, and perhaps we get the funding, how then should we use it?
Okay, just to add on what Kaluki has said, my brother, there is need for clean energy. We need to invest there. Infrastructure, let's point reduction. How do I put it? Like reduction of more cars in the road. We need to reduce it and measure to advise people to use public vehicles. And for someone to use a public vehicle, it needs to be attractive. That can even let's say when African president went to the Queen's funeral, they used public bus. It's it needs to be that attractive. That a point where a CS will get it I'm going to board a bus, and it's not a big deal. So we need to make it so attractive. So I think there's more need of investment on infrastructure, and then clean energy more so. If you go to the rural areas, guys are cutting down trees for charcoal, guys are cutting down for firewood, guys are really misusing the forest. So I think clean energy, and then smart farming. As you can see, one of the effects I told you about hunger, it's really an issue in Kenya right now. And young guys need to invest we invest in farming, smart farming. It will generate a lot of income, and government need to fund people, government need to inform people. I told you, people are so illiterate that they don't know that they're illiterate. Not in a bad way, but in those rural areas. And then also in this youth group, there is need to capacity building, where they bring these young guys together. So long as it's registered, or if it's not registered, they need to tell them the procedure to register it. And then as well, they need to reduce cost and even procedures of registering of these organizations. And something of sort. Yeah.
Okay. President William Ruto also asked you mentioned that as well, the developed countries to power the industrialization with clean and green energy. I think for me, I'd like to talk about the possibility of that, because it's welcoming them to even Kenya, which of course we are finding our way on how to do that even more now. But then is it something that developed countries are open to adopt?
Yes, I think they are open to adopt. Just 2 days ago, we got an email from these company in States, and they want to bring this solar thing in Africa. Also Kenya and Tanzania. And they reached us, they wanted us to do for them some little research, which hopefully when things work out well for the partnership, next week we'll start the process. So I can see, for them to reach us, it means there are more other organizations that are reaching other organizations to do a change. So, and I'm just calling the other guys also. They can support us in this, so we move together. When we come together, great things happen.
All right, yeah, sure. When we come together, great things happen. Kaluki, you're agreeing? Yes.
I think in our area, I think we have 2 companies that are doing clean energy. I think recently most people in Kuru were using charcoals and paraffin. I think after the company, these are companies that are more so in global north. So they came, I think, to to replace the use of paraffin, charcoal, and now at least they are using the clean energy for cooking. I think just an example that we have hope that they will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's listen in now as well to Mia Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, speaking, as well as to William Ruto as well, tabling the African agenda. Then we'll come and conclude our discussion.
But the simple political will that is necessary, not companies make $200 billion in profits in the last 3 months and not expect to contribute at least 10 cents in every dollar of profit to a loss and damage fund. This is what our people expect. And I ask us, as we reflect on what a loss and damage fund can look like and who should access it, that we convene a special convocation that doesn't only involve state parties, but non-state actors, such as the same companies. We believe as well that the time has come for the introduction of natural disaster and pandemic clauses in our debt instruments. I have said that if Barbados is hit tomorrow, because we have natural disaster clauses, God forbid if we are hit tomorrow, we unlock 18% of GDP over the next 2 years, because what we do is effectively put a pause on all of our debt and put it at the end for 2 years and put it at the end, and we pay back that money at the end. But what we get is a flexibility in the first 2 years to address issues of damage and loss.
Involving more than 20,000 deaths in Africa alone over this period. It is estimated that by 2050, climate impacts could cost African nations US dollars 50 billion annually. The Horn of Africa region, including Kenya, is experiencing the worst drought in 40 years. 2 consecutive years without rain have visited misery on millions of people. 2.5 million livestock have died in Kenya this year alone, causing economic losses of more than US dollars 1.5 billion. 2 days ago, we went to distribute food relief to 4.3 million affected Kenyans in an emergency program that has forced us to reallocate funds budgeted for education and health. The trade-offs we are forced to make between indispensable public goods is evident that climate change is directly threatening our people's lives, health, and future. Moreover, due to drought, many children have now dropped out of school. We have been compelled to make school feeding a priority in order to keep our children in class. Kenya's world-renowned wildlife heritage has not been spared either, and carcasses of elephants, zebras, wildebeest, and many other wild fauna litter our parks. We have had to spend...
All right, Mia Motley right there, then President William Ruto speaking yesterday at COP27. I think Ruto has brought out a very important perspective. Africa contributes less in the pollution to global warming, and environment change, but yet we are adversely affected, heavily bit, if I can say that. Looking back to the agreement reached upon, developed countries to contribute around 100 billion annually to developing countries. Now we are talking about the loss and damage again. Is it about time that then, as part of the developing countries, Kenya and Africa at large, we stop portraying ourselves as beggars, if I may put it that way, for lack of a better word, and find internal solutions now? Yes.
I think that's possible. On my end, as you can see the effects according to the president. Even young people are not going to school.
Right.
We are having carcasses of zebras, lions, and all that in our parks. And I think it can be a solution. It can be a challenge to us as a country to come up with our own model. The way the CS for Education was saying, public institutions should get their source of income. I think as a country we need to get our sources of income. And I can advise mainly on smart farming. And also like a challenge I've had the president of Barbados, the woman.
Right.
Yes, she was saying like if you're making up to 10 million US dollars profit, why can't you give $10 to loss and damage?
Yes.
So a point where, let's say, for example, Kirk TV, you're making, let's say, 10,000 US dollars on advertisement. Why can't you just give $100 on something? You can even, like it's 10% in a church, you can even give one bow.
Yeah.
I think we tried this with Naivas. You are asking them for every good sold, they can plant a tree.
Okay.
Yes, but we tried even with Riara University, Riara accepting. And for every child admitted, a student admitted, they're going to plant a tree in another institution.
Okay, great.
Or anywhere. So with this, it's at least solving an issue, though slowly, but are solving an issue. We generate our own income by us for us, something of sort.
Right. I think what Mia Motley is proposing is a good agenda. Your factory, your industry emits and pollutes the environment, contributes a little from the profit you're making. That's a really good agenda, but then when it comes to now, what can I say, getting the company to give out their money, it's not a requisite. It's something that they do out of their own volition, and it ends up being a good proposal, but nothing happening. But I think I like the fact that you said it's possible. It's about time for Africa, for Kenya, to find its own solution, its own sustainable solution. Kaluke, you want to say something?
I think as a country, we can also scrap some of the budget. I think from different docket and allocate for climate change. I think we can, as the president, as Ali said, I think we can allocate some money to construct more dams. I think to revive our irrigation schemes. I think this will help so much in to help to find solution.
Right.
And the food that in the hunger that we are experiencing in the country now. Yes.
Okay. There's a mention of zero carbon emission by 2050.
By 2050. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Is that a possibility? Looking at where we are right now.
For me right now, I don't think the possibility now. But I'm hoping we will achieve that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it not a possibility? Just looking at how things are doesn't look achievable.
Looking at, like right now in Kenya, we are focusing on food security. So we're not focusing much on reducing the carbon. But I think it's something that we should focus on reducing the carbon to 0.2% by 2050.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a possibility, so long as we just need to act and see if we care. I do believe with concentration and focus, you can even become a pope or a grand leader. Yeah. So if somebody with just concentration and focus on the right way,
yeah,
I think people could know what climate change is. Have you ever been robbed, or has anything you value taken away from you forcefully? Let's say your laptop, your phone in town. It's so disgusting. That's how climate change is. I think guys need to know the effect of this climate change. People are taking it for granted. There's need for a lot of capacity building to the local, to the grassroots level, and any other organization, anywhere, so that people knows what it feels about climate change. I wish you can just take a trip to Turkana. You see what is going on there.
Right.
Trust me, you'll come back and plant 10,000 seedlings. You'll come back and do anything, so that you may not feel the effect to you as an individual, because you're staying in Karen and all that. The environment is cool. But somebody, even your generation to come, and somebody in a low-income town or something, these guys are really suffering. So I can just ask the government, people need to be serious in this. Yes.
Okay. I think you've talked a lot about Turkana, but of course we also have other places affected. There's a news piece yesterday in Kajiado. Farmers, rather people who keep cattle, are selling their goats and cows for less than 2,000 shillings, goats at 500 shillings. I think that's a very huge loss when you think about it. And it's sad to say it. Of course, we also had farmers who are incurring losses. I think I don't want to think about that because it's
so disgusting.
It's a really sad story. But let's talk about the solutions, the future. You're saying it's possible to have zero carbon emissions by 2050. You're talking about let's plant trees to have predictable weather patterns. What steps do we need to take from here?
Okay, there's this slogan we used to when I was in high school about AIDS, ABC, abstinence is the best control, being informed is the best weapon, and communication is this ABC. So I think anything that you can abstain for that distort environment, please do.
Okay.
And then information. Even the president really agitated about peer-to-peer information. Let's have Twitter spaces. Let's have media. Like, why is it like if a politician does something weird, it's trending, and they are not trending this issue, people suffering in Turkana? Let it be on the forefront of our newspapers. For us, if we have an activity, for it to be published here, it's an issue. So why can't they? The main thing is to make the main thing the main thing. I think that's the only way we can do it. And then communication. And I love one of my political fathers, the people I love most. I didn't have opportunity to meet him. He's called Sun Tzu. Yes, he's a military personnel in China. Then he said, like, anyone can become what he wants, as so long as his intentions are right and pressure around him. He said he can even make someone become an army officer to deliver a country from one of the most superior enemies. So a point where you just need to see the effect of climate change. If somebody can come from, let's say from Karen, this guy goes to Turkana for a day or two in this desert. He goes even to Kajiado, sees what is happening, and then he's told, like, this is what is coming for you in the next 5 years if you don't take an action. Trust me not, you'll come back and make an action. Like me, what made me make a change and move from my political ambitions to environmental ambition was I didn't want people to suffer more because of what I've seen. I've taken my time, I've gone there to Lodwa, Elwak and all those places. Guys are really suffering, and climate change is a real issue that need to be addressed seriously and urgently. We are calling everybody from churches, hospital, anywhere, anything you can do to save this planet, because Earth can survive without us, but us, we can't survive without the Earth.
Right.
So it's just us to champion for a better life.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Kaloke.
I think for me, there is this quote that I always use when I'm in the middle of conversation about climate change. It is a quote by the former president of US, Barack Obama, that is saying that when the youth speaks, the world listens. I think for me, I think we need to put more effort on advocacy and creating awareness to people to plant more trees, and not only trees. I think we have also the urban farming. I think like in our community, there are some people and groups that are doing urban farming. I think this is another solution for the drought that we're experiencing. And I think if we reach many people as possible to tell them to plant more trees, I think they should be taken as personal initiative for everyone to plant trees. Not only the people of Turkana, but the whole country. Yes.
All right. Thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it so much. Victor Keller, political environmentalist, and James Kaluke, who's the program coordinator at Green Slums Innovation Hub. We've had quite an engaging discussion, which for me, I believe all what we need, each and every one of us, is just the sheer and simple political will to do something, take action and bring change. That's all we need.
Yes.
Willingness. And we'll be talking about a different story even come next year. We'll be looking back and saying, indeed, this year it's different. We've had very predictable weather patterns. So as earlier on during a discussion came up that we need everyone on board, the young, the old, the elderly, women and men. This is not a matter of leaders or a matter of people who stay in villages, but it involves and includes all of us because we all feel the pinch, we all feel the heat. And as mentioned here, the world can live without us, but we cannot live without the world. So with that said, dear viewer, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Faith Kaulu. Kirk Mid Morning ends right here. But of course, we'll leave you with a big challenge. How many trees have you planted in your life so far? Do ponder on that. And if it's 0, do something to change that. If it is 10, do something to increase the number. Yeah, because as we have said, that this is something that involves and needs all of us. Till next time, do take care. Bye-bye.